Drivers in China are known for intentionally killing the people that they accidentally hit while they're driving. Now, this is involving pedestrians that get hit by a driver accidentally, and then the driver panics and decides to actually kill the person instead of helping them and making sure that they survive. Part of the reason is because of this incentive and disincentive system that's set up in China. Now, Jeffrey Sant from Slate wrote about this, and he actually taught in China for quite some time, and he experienced this firsthand. And then he came across a number of surveillance videos posted online that showed drivers intentionally killing the people that they accidentally hit. Now, here's what he had to say about it. In China, drivers who have injured pedestrians will sometimes then try to kill them. And yet, not only is it true, it's fairly common. Security cameras have regularly captured drivers driving back and forth on top of victims to make sure they are dead. The Chinese language even has an adage for this phenomenon. It is better to hit to kill than to hit and injure.
That is so perverse, man. When the culture has gotten that corrosive in this particular regard, that there's a saying about it. Like, if you're going to hit someone with your car, make sure you kill them, right? Mm-hmm. And it's apparently it's not just in China. He experienced it originally in Taiwan, and for whatever reason, they had the same law there. Obviously, same region there, and one set of laws is going to influence the others, and it happens from time to time. Not necessarily the case, but it was in this case. And he talked about his time in Taiwan as well.
So he says in Taiwan, if you cripple a man, you pay for the injured person's care for a lifetime. But if you kill the person, you only have to pay once, like a burial fee. Now, he also notes that, okay, if you kill the person, yes, you pay for the burial fee, but then you're likely to spend some time in prison. However, you don't spend time in prison for murder because oftentimes you will be convicted of something like negligence, which has a much lower prison sentence. So people will usually serve about 1 to 2 years behind bars for intentionally killing people. And usually the defense that they'll use in court is, oh, I didn't know it was a person, I thought it was a trash bag. And the court believes it. It's incredible.
They don't really believe it.
Right.
It's just the people running the pedestrians over happen to be really rich. So they're very well connected, and they can get away with it. So they pretend to believe it. I mean, look, the stories here outlined in this Slate article, and you can see it all over the web, in different publications have written about it, different journalists have written about it, and you see the videos where they keep backing up over and over the body, are amazing. I mean, in one case, there's a woman who's in a BMW running through a fruit market in Foshan. She hits a 2-year-old girl.
Yeah. And
then she backs up over the 2-year-old girl's body to make sure she's dead. Okay? Even though the grandmother is sitting there yelling, "You hit a person, you hit a person." And then she comes out and says, "Okay, we can pay you money. Pretend it's my husband who did it."
Yeah.
Okay? Which is also really classy. And then there's the 64-year-old grandmother that's killed in another area, and there's a television report about it back in 2008. And the grandmother is hit so many times. The guy goes back and forth over her so many times that the wheels grind her into the pavement.
I know,
okay?
It's sick. It's sick.
Okay, I'm not done yet. The last one's the worst. Well, they're all hideous. There's no comparison. Zhao Jiacheng, who hit the grandmother 5 times, by the way, only had to pay $70,000 in compensation. Because now, if you hit her and you cripple her, you could be paying for the rest of her life. Especially if you hit a child, those bills are going to add up for the rest of their long lives.
Yes.
So they're even more incentivized to kill the kids. Or you just make the one lump sum payment like he did for the grandmother, $70,000 because you killed her, and he's done with it.
Yeah.
So now, just real quick here on the 3-year-old that was killed in 2010, another wealthy young man, another BMW. He not only hits the 3-year-old boy, it's in a parking lot, he backs over the 3-year-old boy, and then he gets out of the car and directs the car over the kid to make sure that the kid is dead and runs over his skull. And he's so close that the reporter said in the video, if the kid was still alive, he could touch him. Okay? How do you do that, man? And so this is an amazing story, not just about China, not about the particular people who did these hideous crimes, but about what humanity is capable of, given, the motivations that you give them through financial, as Anna said, incentives and disincentives.
So there was a case of a man who was disabled because someone had hit him with his car. And the person who hit him had to take care of him or pay for his financial bills or medical bills for 23 years. And it came out to $400,000. And so these people know that they will be basically completely destroyed financially if they don't kill these people. So when you set up that type of incentive structure, it's not surprising that people would do this. Now, I shouldn't say that because I want to believe that most good people wouldn't do it. But if you're going to be in financial ruin, some people are going to get desperate and they're going to do the worst possible thing to save themselves.
But it's also about a coarsening of society because to them, those lives didn't matter. Their wealth mattered a lot more. And I don't know that they would have been bankrupted. These people are very wealthy, well-connected. I mean, the defense is preposterous, both in the grandmother case and in the 3-year-old boy case. They claimed that they thought it was trash or a cardboard box. But if you thought it was trash, why did you run over it 5 times? Why would you bother to get out of your car to run over trash and make sure you run it over 3 to 5 times?
Right.
It makes no sense. No one in their right mind could possibly believe that. And you think the judges don't know that people do this fairly regularly, that there's a saying about it? They don't know any of that? And they're like, oh, this must be the first time. Boy, he was so negligent when he ran over the body 5 times. No, the rich, in this case, literally get away with murder.
Well,
small jail time, small fine, and they're better off doing it. And it is because of, as we covered here in the U.S., our infinite greed drives wars, drives political corruption, destroyed our democracy. The infinite greed of all human beings exists everywhere. And in the case of China, it's literally killing people.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me, especially when you consider how someone's socioeconomic status plays a huge role in how they're treated in the justice system. Like there's a 2-tier justice system here in the United States where some people with certain resources get away with it. Like the kid who killed 4 people and his defense was affluenza, right?
And he killed them in a car accident.
Yeah.
Now, in his case, he didn't run them over repeatedly, but he was grossly indifferent to their well-being as they flew out of his car. He had stolen the beer in the first place. What happened? I thought you were really rich. See, but that's the thing. That's another phenomenon that explains this, right? Which is that once you have a ton of money, unfortunately, not every time, but some of the time, you become indifferent to other people's plight. You're the only person on the planet. You're entitled to everything, right? And if you wind up killing people or running them over, well, you're entitled to get away with it. And you know what happens? The governments in all these countries reinforce it. And in China, they go, oh, yeah, sure. I bet you thought it was trash in the street when you ran that 3-year-old boy's head over on purpose. And so a small punishment, and they go back to their rich, privileged lives. At some point, man, whether it's in China, the U.S., or anywhere else, people are going to grab pitchforks.